The Honor Flight Austin Telethon is ongoing here at KVUE. We're raising a lot of money to help local veterans have a trip of a lifetime to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials and monuments built in honor of their service and sacrifice to the country. Yvonne Nava has been in there all morning long answering phones, taking donations, talking to people. Yvonne, you've done a fantastic job raising money in there. It's been fun to watch. So what do you have for us now?
We have some guests here, Brian, and they're familiar faces. We have Jim Young, who has been volunteering, and he's also an Army veteran. And then we have Matt Mathias with Honor Flight Austin. Thank you both for joining me. A very special moment, a check presentation. Tell us who this check is coming from.
The check is coming from SABOT Friends, which is a group of small business owners, including my company, SABOT Development, that want to support our veterans here in Austin.
All right, go ahead and present that check. And one thing we were talking about, $25,000. Fantastic. Thank you so much. You were mentioning that it's very important and other businesses realize they can kind of pull together, right?
Absolutely. This is the 5th year that Jim Young has done this with his friends. Jim is an Army veteran, and he has called up his buddies and said, let's all band together and do this. So year after year, Jim has come back with his friends to support Honor Flight and support other veterans and getting them on the trip of a lifetime to Washington, D.C. So Jim, thank you again for this. This makes a difference in the lives of veterans. You've been on Honor Flights and you've seen how veterans are touched and changed, and I know that's part of why you do this every year.
Yeah, I've been on 4 flights, and my wife's been able to go on one of the flights and see how impactful it is. And I've had the privilege of escorting a gentleman who was one of the first 12 people ever to be a Special Forces Green Beret.
Wow.
I've had the privilege of taking a gentleman who was 99 years old and had been at the Battle of Iwo Jima, and to hear their stories and see healing and get cards and letters afterwards and share them with other donors and understand just how impactful the trip can be has been the trip of the lifetime for me.
Absolutely. And you're an Army veteran, but also West Point graduate. Yes. Okay, that's very impressive there.
I was enlisted first. I always like to tell people.
Okay.
Before I was a West Point.
Well, we thank you for your service, but I love the fact that you're talking about how you've seen different stories and kind of different reactions from people, but a lot of it is just gratitude, right? And that's what they're feeling, and that's what they should feel.
Yeah, I was manning the phones earlier, and there were 2 different people who called in to make donations that their papa or grandfather had gone on one of the trips recently. And just to hear their stories was so heartwarming. And one of them had passed, and the daughter told me that her dad said that the trip made him feel complete.
Yes, absolutely. Matt, what would you like to say to this? And also, Niall Maxwell obviously helping out as well, big time.
Niall and Nancy Maxwell have committed to match $50,000 given today, and Jim's is not included in that match, so we still have plenty of room. If you call and donate right now or hit that QR code and donate, Niall and Nancy Maxwell will double every single donation this morning. So please get on the phones, make these phone rings behind us to change a veteran's life and to say thank you for their amazing service to our country.
Absolutely. And, asking you're with Honor Flight Austin, what made you be part of this group, this nonprofit? Because it's made up of volunteers. And how is it so special to you?
My dad and uncle were World War II veterans. My dad was an infantryman. My uncle was a company commander, a tank company commander under General Patton at the Battle of the Bulge.
Wow.
And they went on the very first flight, an honor flight in 2012 out of Austin.
Wow.
And I saw the change that occurred in those 2 men. They were both in their 80s at the time. They stood a little straighter when they got home. They walked a little with a little more oomph,
taller.
A little taller. They were proud of their service, and they started telling their stories to our families. And we had never heard their stories before, other than the funny ones. And they opened up, and it changed our family history because we learned about what they had done. My father died 4 months after that flight, very unexpectedly. And because of that, Mayor Lee Leffingwell, who was one of the founders of Austin Honor Flight, called me and said, would you get involved? And now 12 years later, I'm going on 13 years, Honor Flight is still going strong. We've flown 3,500 Central Texas veterans, and we've hosted 101 flights.
Yeah.
So every donation this morning gets doubled by Niall and Nancy Maxwell, and that will make all the difference. So please, please, get on the phones, hit that QR code, or do what Jim did. Call your friends
And get
pool some
together,
money.
yeah.
Pool some money and call in and make a pledge.
There's so much to be proud of. And as far as even with you even mentioned, you know, it's from beginning to end. Like it starts here, but then you continue, you go to DC, and it's a whole thing. It's not only the flight, there's what else is involved?
Well, it's a whole, I like to say that seeing the monuments and the memorial is actually the least impactful part of the trip. It's the camaraderie and the healing and the getting to open up and talk about experiences and to be around a group of people who understand and immediately know, like a brotherhood or sisterhood, that is, for me, like been the most incredible part of the trips.
We love that. Again, I'm not hearing phones ringing, so the phones need to ring, 459-2020. And thank you so much to SABOT and Friends for you all coming together, pulling $25,000. That's a good chunk of change.
Yeah, it's amazing. And this check will change lives, I promise you.
I love to hear those personal stories, Brian, about changing lives, because sometimes it is that camaraderie. You want to talk about your experience with others who have experienced it. So it's so very special.
It really is. I did the math real quick. Just by that donation alone, 14 veterans will get to join that honor flight, one of those honor flights in an upcoming trip. So that donation alone, 14 people are affected by that. Just such a great thing.
14 people can go with this, just with this donation alone. 14 veterans. That's fantastic.
I love it.
Look at you doing math at 8:37. Good job, Brian.
That's right. That's right. Great job by you. Great job by those gentlemen. It's just been a wonderful morning. We're not done yet, for sure. Yvonne, thank you so much for that. Again, the number is 459-2020. It's easy to remember.